Anime conventions are some of the most magical fan experiences you can have. Imagine stepping into a world where your favorite anime characters feel real, surrounded by thousands of people who share the same passion. It's colorful, it's exciting, and for many fans, it's a dream come true. But here's the thing no one tells you. Some fans accidentally ruin it for everyone else. They don't mean to, but one bad choice can turn an incredible weekend into a complete nightmare. And sometimes that one mistake doesn't just ruin their experience, it can get them kicked out of the convention or even banned for life. So what are these mistakes? What are the things most people don't even realize they're doing wrong? Let's start with the one rule that seems obvious, yet gets broken more than you'd believe. Cosplay is one of the biggest draws at any anime convention. You've seen the photos online, insanely detailed armor builds, hand-stitched kimonos, giant foam weapons. For many fans, cosplay is the heart of the entire convention experience. It's a way to show creativity, celebrate fandom, and even connect with people who share the same love for a character. But here's where things go wrong: disrespect. It sounds simple. Don't make fun of someone's costume, right? But every single year, there's someone who just has to comment on how cheap a cosplay looks, how a person doesn't look like the character, or even worse, take it to social media to roast people behind their back. And it never ends well. In 2023, a small convention in the Midwest had an incident go viral when an attendee posted a video mocking another person's cosplay on TikTok. What happened next? That TikTok user was publicly shamed, banned from the convention, and even had other events blacklist them, all over a 5-second joke that wasn't even funny. See, cosplay isn't just about costumes, it's about respect and community. People put hours, sometimes months, into creating those costumes, often spending hundreds of dollars on materials. When someone mocks that, it's not just a joke. It's tearing down something deeply personal to them. Even worse, some people take it a step further, making comments about someone's body type, skin color, or gender because it doesn't match the character. That kind of gatekeeping is toxic, and conventions are cracking down on it harder than ever before. Some even have strict harassment policies that make disrespect grounds for immediate removal. And here's the kicker: you never know when you're being recorded. Many cosplayers and bystanders carry cameras, and convention floors are packed with people live streaming. One snide comment? It could end up online in minutes and follow you for years. This is why seasoned congoers live by one simple rule: if you can't say something supportive, don't say anything at all. But cosplay controversies are just one piece of the puzzle. Because while you might be thinking, I'd never say something rude about a costume, there's another mistake people make that's way more common and way more uncomfortable. And it has to do with personal space. If you've ever been to an anime convention, you know it's crowded. Thousands of people squeezed into hallways, artist alleys, panel rooms. It's chaotic, but in the best way. That is, until someone crosses the invisible line of personal space. For some reason, certain attendees seem to think anime conventions are like an open hug festival. Maybe it's because people are in costumes, or maybe it's because fandoms feel like one big family. But here's the hard truth: not everyone wants to be touched, especially by strangers. This mistake is so common it's earned its own nickname in con culture: the glomp problem. A glomp is basically a running tackle hug, something fans used to joke about doing to their favorite characters. But in real life, it's not funny, it's dangerous, and it's one of the fastest ways to get reported to staff. Back in 2019, a major West Coast anime convention had to officially ban glomping after an attendee was injured. Why? Because a stranger tried to hug them from behind while they were wearing a fragile foam cosplay. The costume shattered, the person hit the ground, and the whole thing ended up on Twitter with thousands of people asking, why would anyone think that's okay? Even beyond tackling hugs, there's a subtler issue: hovering. You know the type. Someone gets way too close while looking at your badge, staring at your merch bag, or leaning in for a selfie without even asking. It might feel harmless to you, but to the person on the other end, it's incredibly uncomfortable. And here's where things get really messy. Complaints about personal space violations often escalate fast. Many conventions now have security teams that will step in if someone reports feeling unsafe. You might think it's just one hug or just standing close for a second, but to that person, it can feel threatening, and staff will take their side almost every time. The rule is simple: if you want to interact with someone, ask first. Want a picture? Want a hug? Even if you're 99% sure they'll say yes, you respect the 1% chance they don't want it. But it's not just physical boundaries people cross, it's digital ones too. Which brings us to one of the most common rookie mistakes at conventions, taking photos without permission. And trust me, that one mistake can go from awkward to viral in seconds. You see it at every anime convention. Cosplayers posing, photographers crouching for the perfect shot, and people snapping pictures left and right. But here's the thing most first-time attendees don't realize. Taking photos without permission is one of the quickest ways to ruin someone's day and possibly your entire weekend. Cosplay might look like a public performance, but it's not a free pass to treat people like prop. And yet, year after year, people get caught secretly snapping pictures from across the room, or even worse, taking inappropriate angles just because they think no one's watching. Spoiler alert, someone's always watching. In 2022, one anime convention in Texas went viral for exactly this reason. A cosplayer discovered that someone had been secretly filming them all weekend and posting the clips online. Within hours, the internet exploded. The person behind the camera was identified and banned on the spot, and their name spread across Twitter and Reddit like wildfire. One bad decision, and their entire reputation was destroyed. But even if you're not doing something shady, taking a photo without asking can still backfire. Some people attend conventions for fun, not fame. They might not want their image floating online. Others could be minors, or maybe they just don't feel comfortable having strangers archive their face on a random phone gallery. And it's not just about privacy, it's about respect. Cosplayers often spend hours preparing for that perfect photo moment, adjusting props, fixing wigs, or touching up makeup. When someone rushes in, snaps a quick pic without asking, and disappears, it feels like a violation of all that effort. Want to take a photo? It takes 2 seconds to ask. Most cosplayers actually love posing for photos. It's why they wear the costume in the first place. But the difference between a great experience and a disaster is that one simple question. Hey, can I take a picture? And don't forget, where you post those photos matters too. Always tag the cosplayer if possible, and never post something that could embarrass them. Because just like with cosplay disrespect, one wrong post can explode online faster than you think. But believe it or not, photos aren't the only way people ruin conventions without realizing it. Sometimes, the entire venue becomes the victim. And what happens next? Well, that's when people start getting kicked out before the con even ends. Anime conventions are basically temporary cities. Thousands of people flood into hotels, convention centers, and exhibit halls, places that weren't designed for anime swords, giant foam wings, or mountains of bubble tea cup. And while most fans respect the space, some treat it like their personal trash bin or playground, and it gets ugly fast. One of the most common and most hated mistakes is littering. You'd think people would just use the dozens of trash bins around, right? But every year, staff members end up cleaning up half-finished boba teas, ramen bowls, and even discarded cosplay pieces tossed on the floor. It might seem like a small thing, but for staff and volunteers, it's one of their biggest headaches. And yes, they notice who's doing it. In 2021, a massive anime convention in Florida had an incident where a spilled drink in the vendor hall ruined hundreds of dollars worth of merchandise. Security reviewed the cameras, found the attendee responsible, and that person got their badge pulled on the spot. One accident turned into a permanent ban, all because they couldn't be bothered to hold onto their drink properly. But it's not just litter. Panel disruptions are another huge issue. Imagine you've waited an hour in line to see your favorite voice actor speak, and halfway through, some guy yells out random jokes, interrupts the Q&A, or plays loud sounds on their phone. That kind of behavior doesn't just annoy the audience, it completely ruins the moment for everyone in the room. These situations often escalate quickly. Staff don't mess around with disruptions anymore. In many cases, security will escort disruptive attendees out immediately. And once your badge is pulled, there's no coming back, not even to grab merch you already paid for. Some even take it further, ignoring clear signage and walking into restricted areas, like backstage or staff-only zones, thinking they'll get a sneak peek. Spoiler alert, they don't get a peek, they get escorted straight out. What's wild is that a lot of these mistakes come from excitement. People are hyped, they're having fun, and they're not thinking about how their actions impact everyone else. But conventions have one simple rule: don't make other people's jobs harder. because when you do, you might find yourself leaving the convention early, and not by choice. But here's the thing, not every mistake is about bad behavior. Some people end up ruining their own experience without even breaking a single rule. And it all comes down to one thing, how they treat themselves during the weekend. Anime conventions are intense. You're running from panel to panel, browsing the artist alley, buying exclusive merch, and maybe even lining up for celebrity autograph. It's exciting, but it's also exhausting. And if you're not careful, your body will let you know in the worst way possible. One of the biggest mistakes con-goers make? Forgetting to take care of themselves. Sounds silly, right? But every single convention has at least one person who collapses in the hallway because they haven't eaten all day or drank a single drop of water. And yes, this happens a lot. At a huge anime convention in 2022, paramedics had to rush in multiple times because attendees literally fainted from dehydration. Think about it. You're in a giant building full of people, it's warm, and you've been walking for hours in a heavy costume. Combine that with barely any food and water, boom, you're out cold in front of thousands of strangers. And it's not just physical exhaustion, it's financial too. Every year, people spend way more money than they intended and regret it before the con even ends. You walk past a vendor table, see that rare figure or limited edition plush, and before you know it, you've maxed out your card. One attendee even went viral on TikTok for spending their entire rent money on merch, then having to sell it all online just to recover financially. Another common mistake? No sleep. Some people try to squeeze every second out of the event. Late-night photo shoots, hotel parties, gaming tournaments, then wake up early to do it all again. By day 2 or 3, they're zombies, dragging themselves through the con with zero energy. And the worst part? Sleep-deprived attendees are way more likely to make all the other mistakes we've already talked about, from snapping at staff to accidentally damaging someone's cosplay. The lesson here is simple. Treat your body and wallet like part of your cosplay. You wouldn't leave your costume half-finished or ignore repairs, right? So why do that to yourself? Eat, drink water, pace your spending, and for the love of anime, get some sleep. Because here's the truth. The convention will still be there after you take a break. But if you push too hard, you might not make it through the weekend. And yet, even after people handle their physical needs, there's one last mistake that can turn the entire experience toxic. It's not about cosplay. It's not about photos or even money. It's about how fans treat each other on a personal level. Anime conventions are meant to be welcoming, right? A place where fans from every background, age group, and fandom come together to celebrate what they love. But every year, there's always that one person who decides they're the authority on what's real anime and what isn't. Welcome to gatekeeping, one of the most toxic behaviors in any fandom. You've probably seen it before. Someone proudly wearing a Demon Slayer hoodie only to be told, that's not real anime, watch something obscure. Or a new fan saying their favorite character is from Naruto, and someone immediately responds with, that's basic. You're not a real fan. This behavior might seem like harmless banter, but at conventions, it can ruin someone's entire weekend. Imagine finally working up the courage to attend your first con, maybe even wearing your first cosplay, only to have someone tear you down for liking something too popular. That one comment can be enough to make someone leave early, and trust me, people remember who said it. And it doesn't stop there. Rudeness towards staff and volunteers is another common problem. Most convention workers are volunteers. They're giving up their free time to keep everything running smoothly. They deal with scheduling, ticketing, lost badges, security, and then someone comes along, screaming because they can't get into a sold-out panel. These moments often escalate quickly. At one major convention in 2023, an attendee went viral after berating a volunteer in front of a line of hundreds of people. Within hours, security revoked their badge, and their face was on social media with a clear warning. This person is banned from future events. The message is clear. Toxic attitudes don't belong at anime conventions. It doesn't matter if you've been watching anime for 20 years or just discovered it yesterday. It doesn't matter if you've got a handmade Gundam costume or you're rocking a store-bought t-shirt. Conventions thrive because of inclusivity and shared excitement, not because one person decides they're the gatekeeper of what counts as anime. So here's the takeaway. If you want to enjoy the con, let other people enjoy it too. Anime conventions are some of the most incredible fan experiences you can have. You get to meet voice actors, buy exclusive merch, cosplay as your favorite characters, and meet people who love the same things you do. But as we've seen, a handful of mistakes can ruin everything fast. Disrespecting cosplay, ignoring personal space, taking photos without permission, trashing the venue, overdoing it on food, money, and sleep, gatekeeping and rudeness. Each one might seem small in the moment, but at a convention packed with thousands of people, those small mistakes spread quickly, ruin experiences, and can even get you banned for life. The truth is, conventions are a celebration of fandom, creativity, and community. And if everyone treats each other with a little respect, they stay fun for everyone. So next time you head to a convention, remember, don't be that guy. Enjoy the panels, take amazing photos with permission, and celebrate anime culture without stepping on someone else's good time. Because at the end of the day, anime conventions aren't just about the shows you watch or the merch you buy, they're about the memories you create. And trust me, you want those memories to be amazing ones. Question for you: what's the worst behavior you've ever seen at an anime convention? Drop your story in the comments below. I want to see how wild it gets.